There we go.
All right, guys. I got your attention up here. Good evening to you. Thank you for being here. My name is Gray Weaver. I'm the Director of Bands here at Milton High School, and I want to welcome each of you to the Milton High School Mighty Black and Gold Band family. Guys, we're going to be going over a lot of information tonight, and I know we're going to go through it as quickly as we can, and probably a lot of things are going to probably end up with more questions than you have to start with, and we'll do our best to answer those as we go, and of course we're always going to be available here to you. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my assistant director here. My name, of course, is Gray Weaver. I have been at Milton High School starting my 24th year as the director of bands. After having come through Milton High School, I went to East Milton Elementary, King Middle School, graduated Milton High School in 1987, went off for 5 years at University of Southern Mississippi to the top, of those of you that know Southern Miss, who are playing Mississippi State right now in the baseball tournament. I had it on my phone there a minute ago. Leading 1-0, by the way. But went to University of Southern Mississippi, then taught for 2 years as an assistant band director outside of Jackson, Mississippi at Madison Central High School before my band director retired, Mr. Bell, and called me up and said, hey, the job's open, come home if you want it. That was the day I walked out and graduated. I looked at him and said, I want to come back and take your job. And so I'm living the dream. I came back and replaced him as band director and started year number 24. Actually, on July the 5th would be my first day. So as well, I'm also not only the band director, I'm also a band dad. I've got one daughter that has come through here and graduated. She's at Southern Miss, fixing to start her second year in the fall. And I've got another daughter that's an 11th grade flute player in the band. And I'm married, and my wife, Jan Weaver, who's standing in the office, is actually the band bookkeeper. She takes that load off us. She teaches business classes here on campus. And so since my specialty is music, I'll let the business person handle a lot of the money aspect, if you know what I mean. But with us as well, I have got a great assistant band director, Mr. Michael Schultz. I'm going to let him tell you a little about himself.
Mr. Weaver, ladies and gentlemen. Like Mr. Weaver said, I'm the assistant band director here. My name is Michael Schultz. I'm actually the director of the concert band, the jazz band, and whatever else you need me to do.
I'll let him run the marching band because I need to get hot.
Yeah. Just to give you a little background on myself, I went to Tate. I graduated from Tate High School in 2003. Go ahead. And so I'm from that part. I went to the same university, the University of Southern Mississippi, to the top. I'm also a tuba player, so that worked out, yep. I won't tell you how long I was at Southern Miss, but I enjoyed college. Yeah, thanks. I got hired on, I started working here. This is my first career job, July 20, 2010, and July 20th this year will be the longest I've ever been at any school, period. So it was awesome. Milton is a great place. I want to let you know that right off the bat. It's a very, I tell everyone, I'm always going to be an Aggie, but my home is at Milton. And it's just perfect. And you're going to find that out, hopefully, over the course of this 4-year journey that we're all going to take together. So.
I won't tell you that he's single. That he's looking. He has qualifications. I'll see me later if you know somebody between 26 and about 33. That would be great. I got your back, man. I got your back. But guys, again, we welcome you tonight. First thing, if you notice, you should have gotten an agenda, at least one per family to look at. We're going to try to follow this agenda. I will tell you that our band handbooks, I finished them up about 1 o'clock today. They are being printed and should be here within the next 5 minutes. And as Miss Tina Byers, who's been our head chaperone in the past, she's over the copy room, and she was actually out working with community school today. So she just got in about 6:15 to the copy room, and so they'll be up here in just a few minutes. But notice on part 2 of your agenda, our Band Parent Association. One thing I want to tell you before I introduce those officers is you are a part of the MHS Band Parent Association. A few years ago, we called it the Band Boosters, and we would have parents go, well, I'm not a band booster. And it's like, well, yeah, you are. So we, with the board and the wisdom of the board back then, and the Booster Club decided to change it to Band Parent Association, because if your child's in the band, you're a band parent, and we want you to be a part of the association that we have with the parents there. So we've got a great officer group. I'm going to introduce them to you at this time. I don't have my handbook in front of me because they're being copied. I'm going to try to remember everybody's office because it has changed up. But our president, Miss Rhonda Harris, come on up. You want to introduce more? Okay. I knew you were going to do that to me. Our first vice president could not be here tonight. He's working 11 to 11 shift. Is Mr. Ray Gentry. A lot of you may know Ray. He's had a student go through the Hops band. I think that just is coming up to the high school next year. Our second vice president, Ms. Victoria Marcus. And here's where I'm going to start messing up. Our secretary is Sandy, right? Is Sandy Kennedy? And our assistant secretary is Lisa Needham. Our treasurer, is Keith White. Our assistant treasurer couldn't be here tonight. His name is Bill Galloway, so we'll give him a hand as well. And one of our two trustees, Camina Rollo. And then our other trustee, we have a rotating trustee. One's it's a 2-year type rotation. So you're in your second year, and the one that's just starting as trustee, Mr. Tony Peach, is our trustee. So give it up for him. I'm gonna let Ms. Harris address you real quick from behalf of the Band Parent Association.
Hi, everyone. It's my first year, so bear with me. It's a learning curve for me. We do have, you have your fair share donation. And for incentive hours, if you come out and work with us, it's fun events, you'll get $25 off for up to 3 times off your fees. And we do have some coming up I want to make you aware of. May 16th started everything for this coming up year. We have bands on the Blackwater every Friday night. Well, we don't have every Friday night anymore. We have June 9th, the 23rd, and the 30th from 5 to 10. If you come out and help us, it will count as one of your hours. It's really fun. Listen to some music, help grill some shish kebabs. You will learn shish kebabs. That's our bread and butter. That's how we're known for the community.
It's our mascot.
Yeah, everyone, they know shish kebabs. We have mud races. We started doing mud races. It's every 3rd Saturday.
Selling food at the mud races.
We don't
Yeah, we don't race. No. Yeah, they race to the cross, but it is a fun event. We just go out there and sell concessions to whoever wants to come by. And then we have a big one coming up on 4th of July. We do Riverfest. And it's an all-day event. There's 3 different shifts. So if you do 2 shifts, that's 2 different events for you. And on June 12th, we have an adult meat sticking. You're new, you're gonna learn meat stickings. The kids will learn meat stickings, but it's just what it is. We teach you to stick meat on a stick and marinate it and put it in the freezer. But we have that event. It also will count for some hours. And we do have Firehouse Spirit Night coming up on the 8th of this month, which is Thursday. Anyone, if you go, put your receipt in the box, and we get a percentage of the money from there. Is it all day? All right, he's changed it to all day. And I don't know if there's whatever else you'll cover.
Let's have another round of applause for Ms. Harris and our Band Parent Association Executive Board. Guys, I want to thank you in advance. And guys, understand this, the purpose of our Band Parent Association is to help supplement the band with a lot of funds that we don't get, or funds that we would have to fundraise with students. This allows our parents to plug in and give us a sense of community. It is an extremely important group that raises money all year for our support staff, our percussion director, our color guard director, and just various odds and ends. They help purchase uniforms, different things such as that. So a very important group to help us to maintain what we're doing. You'll notice on here as well, I had mentioned, you see the Firehouse Sub Spirit Night, the 2nd Thursday of every month. That's this upcoming Thursday. And you'll notice Ronnie's Car Wash. We have a $10 car wash where you type in the code 5070 and we get $4 of that car wash as well. So anytime you're at Ronnie's, it's not the $18 car wash, but the $10 car wash. And it'll ask you for the group code, and that's our group code. Volunteer form actually is at the back of the handbook. I'll go over that a little bit later. But when you go to these volunteer events as a band parent, please be sure to sign in. Not only do we want to give your child credit towards the Fair Share donation, but we also like to document the number of hours that have been volunteered through our band parents. We actually take that through the school, and awards are given out by the Santa Rosa County School District. You'll see that last year we had over 10,000 volunteer hours by band parents at the different events from the Band Parent Association, along with some of the events on our side, such as Chaperone. So be sure to sign in at those events. If you'll look at bullet number 3, this year's marching band, We're sitting at about 220, 225. We had 230 in the computer. So the largest band that we've seen up to this point. And I know that in the history, I've gone back and looked through old yearbooks. Our band program, there's actually a picture from 1941 over on the wall right here of one of the original Milton High School bands. But the largest band that we've seen here, I'll tell you this, that about back in 2006, they built this band room, and we had about 115 in the band. And when they built it, they said, how many do you think anticipate having the band? I said 175 max. And so we built it for 175, and we equipped it for 175, and we're hitting 225 plus right now, okay? Which is a great problem to have. It's a lot like herding cats, and we get the whole band in here. There's no room to breathe. But one of those things. Our halftime show this year as well, we have introduced actually to the bands a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks back, and we're going to outer space. We're going to call the show Beyond, and you can go onto our YouTube channel, Milton HS Band on YouTube. You can find that, and you can actually see the promo video that we put out for that. So we're very excited about this upcoming year's halftime show. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that as we get closer to band camp. Since our band handbooks aren't here, what I want to do, you'll notice listed in our item number 4, right about the 7th bullet down, it says charms. And this is going to take a little bit of time, but we have a database system that we use here that is real time, that's accessible from any internet, any computer that you get on smartphone, and it's called Charms. This is what we use to send out emails, what we use to do a variety of things, where we keep track of fundraisers when students are fundraising and their accounts and different things. We use this database program. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Schultz, since I call him our technology guru, he's going to talk you through this.
All right, so I'm going to show you a couple things real quick before I get to YouTube. First of all, MiltonHighSchoolBand.com this is the hub of all things Milton High Band. You can go on there, you can explore. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all this is, about what all is on here. Everything that we handed out to you, I put on this website. We're going to talk about the cruise trip that we're taking later on. I'll update that on that tab right there. You can also access our calendar without even going into Charms, what shows you everything that has coming up for the entire year, all the way up to next year's rookie camp. So you can check that out. We also have our YouTube channel, Milton HS Band on YouTube channel. Got lots of videos, including the video that we showed for the halftime show on there. Go in there and click away. Lots of great performances on there. So here is charmsoffice.com. You'll go here, you'll get to the home page. On the top right-hand corner is a login. There's a thing that drops down. It says Parent Student Members. You click that. And if you are, don't you worry about trying to memorize all this right now, because like Mr. Weaver said, it is all in the handbook. So there's a whole Charms page for that. You will type in Milton HS, oops, I left the T out of Milton HS Band. That's our school code. And then from here is where you will type in your child's the password, specific password. And that password is the child's last name and graduation year. All lowercase, no spaces. Okay. Now there are some that may if for some reason you can't log in using the last name and graduation year, try putting the first initial of the first name. There are some repeat last names in here, I believe, that I had to go. That's our go-to if you can't log in. The first letter plus the login. The first time you log in, you're going to have to create a new password. I've already done that with my account. There we go. Okay. Woo, that could have been embarrassing. Huh? Yeah, top right-hand corner. See how it says Michael Schultz? That's my account. This is just my show-off account, so I can show you all how this looks. But just so you know, because I do know of one instance where someone put in what they thought was their password, but it ended up being someone else's, and we fixed that. We communicate that with each other. But anyway, when you log in, there's lots of tabs here that you can check through. Handouts and forms. We put MHS BPA documents in there. We'll put the current halftime show parts I put in there. Medical forms and other things we'll put in there, which all that can also be accessed through our website. the two big things on here that you're going to want to know are finances and calendar. I'm going to click the finances tab. Mr. Weaver's going to go into detail about the finances for the year. Did I click that? Loading. So, if you ever have a question, how much have I paid in? What's this fundraiser done? We have a cookie dough fundraiser that we're doing that we're finishing up tomorrow. And as soon as we get all those orders in, Mrs. Weaver's going to go in and update everyone's account. And you'll get to something like this. Okay? Things that, don't worry about this fixed payment. We don't put anything in there. I don't even know what that is, I'm going to be honest with you. This thing down here, this is where we put fundraisers. Hey, Miss Tina Byers, welcome. Yay, that's our handbooks extraordinaire. Anyway, down here, we'll put fundraisers, we'll charge out all of the Fair Share donation stuff, goes right here. And you can actually, well, let me backtrack. Right up on top where it says trip balance, that's when we open up the trip, go through and get everyone that put in the little intention form, that will show up right there, okay? You'll get charged out that. Now, there is a way to pay these online. I'm going to click this, make miscellaneous payment right there, and this takes you to a PayPal. No, you do not have do not have to have a PayPal account to put this in. But you do need to know, because this is kind of a convenience thing, they have to charge us 2.9% for every transaction that they have. So that's what this statement right here is saying. For any online transaction, it's extra 2.9% with that. Okay? It is convenience, and it does work. We've gotten, ever since we started using that, it's helped out a big time. But you can click that, you put in the amount that you want to pay and give, and it'll automatically, I get an email saying so-and-so put this much money, and I send that off. It automatically gets documented on your statement right there.
It goes into Charms itself.
Yeah.
Through Charms, we don't have to type, because we don't have to type it in. It goes real time.
Yeah, real time. If you don't want to use that, we do obviously take cash, we take checks. It all goes into our money box right there in front of the office. And what we that is acceptable, we'll put in there. We have special envelopes that make up. We'll get that, and Mrs. Weaver will take that, and she'll hand put all that in. Okay. So that's how that side of it works. Is there anything that I need to?
On the financial side.
You got to understand too, Mrs. Weaver is a wonderful, wonderful person for being our bookkeeper, because not only is she that, she's also a teacher. So she takes a lot of time out of her day to go in and do all this while she's trying to teach. So a lot of times you may send us an email saying, hey, I paid this, it hadn't shown up yet. That's because she's busy teaching, and it gets really, we're just hitting the ground running with all that, especially towards the end of the year. So.
They may make a payment in the box, and it may be later that week before. Usually it's not real time.
Yeah.
So we do get those emails.
So,
I put a check in the box just saying, why is it not showing up in Charms? It's because we have to have time to pull out the box, get it to her. She has to have time to go through, fill out all the appropriate documents for the school. So.
But if you do make an online payment, that is real time. It goes straight through immediately. All right. You can click around in there, explore. We did a new thing this year where we did online registration, quote unquote registration. We used to do paper copies, paper forms, everything where students filled out all this stuff during band day. Well, instead of that, we had them all come in and fill it out through laptops, and it was very nice. We didn't have to decipher the hieroglyphics that I have to do every year to put the information in here. So that being said, most of the emails and phone numbers and everything were correct. And whenever all I had to do was upload it, and it automatically created accounts for everybody. So that's been a great thing. You can click the update info icon. That shows you all the information we have on your kid or kids, and you can update that as necessary. Okay, are there any questions right now with this side of it? While are we handing out the? Did you hand out the? Okay. Are there any questions with this? Like I said, don't try to memorize everything that I just said. It's you can read it in that handbook. I'm also videotaping this video, and I will be putting this up on our YouTube page later on this week. Okay?
And I'll go over this more. So thank you, Ms.
Si, senor. All right, guys, coming around right now, and band parents, if we can give with one per family, we go and give those out too. Those are the volunteer forms that Sandy asked us to pass out. So, guys, we got coming out right now our band handbook. This is a 28-page document that is all things band. Okay, if there's a question, chances are it's in there. I've been building this thing for about the past 15 years. So there may even be some mistakes in there because, again, most all the paperwork we recycle from year to year, and I go back through and try to make the appropriate changes and so forth. So let's get everybody a band handbook, and then we'll move down on bullet number 4. At least one per family. If there's 4 or 5 of you here and you want to take 2, I'm okay with that. We had 100 of them printed for tonight's meeting. So. If they're teachers, they don't have to fill in those out.
There is a sign-in sheet somewhere. You can pass it around. It's somewhere in here. Okay.
All right, so anybody need a band handbook that has not got one? If you'll stick your hand up. All right, guys, and look, again, I'm going to go through this as quick as I can. I'm going to try to hit the high points. I'm not going to read that things out to you because I don't want to insult your intelligence. I know it's great bedtime reading. It'll help put you to sleep, I promise. Okay? But I am going to hit the high points. If you'll flip the page, there you'll just notice our page 2, the numbers are down at the bottom right. You'll notice, you'll see just a welcoming letter from us. Thing I want you to notice in the middle, we asked that at the end of it's like a student contract that just says, hey, I've read this, I understand it. We ask that to be signed and returned by July the 14th, which is the Friday before we start band camp. And that just tells us that the kids have received the information and that they know that they have the information available. This band handbook can also be found online at miltonhighschoolband.com. All this stuff is online. Flip the page, you'll notice on page, look at page 3. You'll notice you'll see our grading policies and procedures that we use once the school year starts. Band is a co-curricular activity. What that means is what we do in class ties over to what we do after school. So all that's interrelated. The stuff we work on, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth period during the day, ties over to what goes on after school, whether it's a rehearsal with a marching band, rehearsal with symphonic, concert, Panther band, jazz band, indoor color guard, indoor percussion. It all ties together to a performance or after school rehearsals and so forth, okay? And you'll see how we break the percentages down there. So then being here for the stuff after school also affects their grade during class. But we give that out the first day of school. We wanted you to see that, but I want you to notice at the bottom of page 3, the rehearsal and performance attendance policy. Guys, we've got a lot of students in the band. It is imperative that when we meet, unless they're sick or there's a death in the family or some other extenuating circumstance, that we have them here, okay? We try to give you the whole calendar for the whole school year on charms, and we've got most all the high points in this book. Please go ahead and get those on your calendars. What we don't need is, hey, I got a doctor's appointment, I can't be at practice today. Because one kid missing affects about 4 or 5 people around them on the practice field, or if we're in concert, affects them in here, what we're trying to do. So please understand that with us. What we do ask if they have to miss, let's say that Johnny's sick tomorrow from rookie camp, we ask for a phone call. You got the list there. Does anybody else need to sign the check-in list and somebody might get a chance? In the back, okay. What we do ask from you guys, or from the student at least, is that we get a phone call, a text, leave a message on the answer machine, an email, some way to let us know that, hey, Johnny's not going to be there. Otherwise, we're wondering, hey, did Johnny's parents drop Johnny off and Johnny decided he was going to truck it over to Whataburger and hang out there for the day? This is okay. It happens sometimes, okay? So, but it also lets us know, hey, Johnny's at home throwing up, which if they're fevering, they're throwing up, we don't want you to drop them off here. Okay, we're in tight quarters, we don't need to make the whole band sick. But we ask that in advance or right at the beginning of rehearsal that we get some type of notification. Then after that notification, when they come back, what we ask is some kind of documentation. Let's say Johnny calls us, some kind of documentation from the parent saying Johnny was at home throwing up, that's why he missed Tuesday, June the 6th or whatever. And we've got in front of our money box something we call an absence appeal form. And what they do is they take that note, the student fills out that form, they staple that note to it, they leave it with us in the office. That's how we're able to keep track of all of our students and when they've been here and when they've not been here. If we have a student that's continually missing, we're not getting that feedback. We don't know Johnny's missed 3 rehearsals. Chances are Johnny's probably going to lose a spot in the halftime show because we're going to find another student that we can plug in. But if we know where Johnny's at and we know that, hey, he's fighting with this virus right now, then we can make arrangements and get work around. Does that make sense? So please understand that's extremely important. You can only only think about me and Mr. Schultz. There's 2 of us. There's 220 something of them, and we're trying to not only keep track of who's here, we're trying to run rehearsal, get them ready for the next performance. Flip the page. We'll move on. You'll see my philosophy, our philosophy of the band program, and I do want to go over this because this is important. Okay, because it's taken me years to develop this philosophy here for our program. But number 1 is that we have a high-quality product, a great performance organization in which everybody can be proud of. Not just the students, not just the directors and the staff, but everybody, including the parents, including the community. Okay, if we're not meeting number 1, we've got to revisit and see what's going on. Notice that in that, we need some things to be evident. We want high-energy, entertaining performances. If our band hits the field out there on Friday night and we're boring, then we're not meeting our goal there. We're not meeting our philosophy. We want to be entertaining and exciting. Structure and discipline in rehearsals, performances, and free time. We have high expectations of our kids. And I've learned this, that you surround yourself with high-quality people, and you'll be a high-quality person as well. And we expect that from our kids. If our kids stay in trouble, if they're not making good grades, then we don't need those kids in the band program. We'll sit down, we'll try to counsel with them, but eventually they get to a point where we have to say, you know what? You're not going to be able to do band if you don't get this stuff straightened out. Okay, so that's important, structure and discipline and what we've got going on. Consistency in all the program aspects. We want all 3 of our concert bands to be great. We want our jazz band to be great. We want our indoor color guard to be great. So we want consistency there. Good communication with members and parents. Guys, we're going to communicate with you in so many different ways this year. Okay, we'll have meetings. Of course, we'll have the Band Parent Association meetings the 2nd Tuesday of every month. Me and Mr. Schultz both get out as we speak at those meetings and let everybody know, hey, here's what's going on. Or, hey, here's an issue that we faced last week, and we just want to give you guys some clarification. Mr. Schultz is great about sending out a weekly email every Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. If you're in our charm system, and parents, we ask that you're signed up in there as well. If you're in that, you'll get those weekly emails that has an exact schedule of our weekly events of what's going on that week. We send out text through Remind. We have our website. When he sends out an email, it goes to post to our website. Okay? All kinds of different ways. Charms, you can go into Charms as well. And if we've sent an email, usually we can save it for a week or 2, or we'll save it for a week or 2, and it's in the Charms dues as well. So we want to make sure that we communicate. I'll tell you what does drive us nuts, I'm going to be real honest with you, is the kid will come in on Thursday and go, I didn't know we had practice. And we sit there and go, count out 6 different ways that we sent it to them. Okay? Or the parent. 9 different ways? 9 different ways. Mr. Schultz says that we've sent it to the parents and the students. And they go, oh, I'm not, what's Charms? And you'll see every time we're at a parent meeting, we're preaching charms, okay? So please help us out by signing up for the stuff, and we're going to see a little bit later in here. Integrity throughout the organization. Integrity. You may have noticed if you came to the door, but the door was probably open, that hard work gets you in the room, character keeps you in the room. Okay, that's kind of our little motto. We want integrity throughout the program. Guys, that comes from everything, the finances, and I've lived this my whole life, and especially when I become a professional and adult. But if you've got questions about anything, feel free to ask us how we audition, how we score. We want integrity for the program. I don't want anybody to go back and go, well, that's kind of shady up there at that Milton High School band. Okay? If that's your perception, please come talk to me, because maybe we need to address something. All right? So integrity through the organization. Sense of belonging, ownership for all stakeholders. I mentioned the Band Parent Association. These guys will tell you they develop friendships and bonds that last for years after their kids graduate the band. Matter of fact, some of the officers that we have in the organization don't even have kids in the band anymore. Okay? At one point, they were having a dinner club. I know a lot of the band parents in the past were going out to dinner certain nights of the week because you develop that bond with folks when you're in the concession stand on a Friday night, things are getting hot and heavy, and there's 200 people lined up to get shish kebabs. You start to develop those friendships with people. So we want you to have a sense of belonging as well as your child. Number 2, we want to instill and reinforce the qualities that are going to help them be successful in life. Guys, that's those concomitant values such as self-discipline, okay, teamwork, integrity, responsibility, self-confidence, work ethic. You're going to see that your kids are going to work extremely hard. We know that the 3rd and 4th week of July, they could be at home in the air conditioning on their couch, but yet they're out here from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, sweating and working hard and doing it over and over and over again. Okay? But we know as well that we're teaching them that delayed gratification, that it's going to pay off down the road. We're in a society, and you guys know what I'm talking about, a society today that kind of wants an instant gratification. But that's one of the great things this teaches, is that delayed gratification. Okay? That when you work hard for something, it's down the road, and eventually when you get there, we go to competition, and we do well, and you hear the kids start screaming, that's when it's worth it. Or when they come off the field and you see, tears in their eyes because they love the performance, that's what I'm talking about there. The third thing, provide opportunities for members to create memories and relationships that they can cherish for a lifetime. I thought back to this, I remember when I was a senior in high school, my parents said, Gray Weaver, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I love band. My dad's like, you can't make a living at that, But when I think back to the time the bus broke down. We were on our way between Orlando and Tampa, okay, when I was a senior in high school. I think back to the funny memories. That's the other part of the other aspect of what we're about here in our philosophy, is creating those memories. Okay, so a lot of the things that we do helps to create those memories. There are going to be times this year you're going to think those men have lost their mind. Okay, but trust us, when it gets into the school year, it'll all make a lot of sense. Notice our mottos there: work hard, play hard. We live our life that way. When it's time to work, we work. When it's time to play, we play. And you'll see that with some of the activities we do. And we'll preach all the time to our kids that image is everything.
Image. That's. I don't know what happened. Boy, Dad. Microphone on. We teach our kids all the time that image is everything. Okay? And we talked about that. Whether it's in the bleachers, whatever we do, one negative. If we have somebody do something negative, say a cuss word, and the crowd hears it, it takes about 7 positives to negate that. So we preach that image is everything to our kids as well. If you'll move on down, you'll see, I'm not going to call out the list, we've got a band staff here. I'll tell you, me and Mr. Schultz are the school board ones that are paid for by the school board. Our percussion instructor and percussion and color guard folks, they're paid and supplemented by the Band Parent Association. Band bookkeeper, I introduced Ms. Weaver to you earlier. And then we got a couple of gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Schultz. A couple of gentlemen that come in, Mr. Hendricks, Mr. Roby. Mr. Roby was actually in the band, graduated in 1984. When I was here, Chuck Hendricks has had 2 daughters come to the band. He was in the Tate Band Marching Drum Corps. You'll see those guys around. Our head chaperone this year, we're actually changing up. Miss Tina that brought the copies in has been our head chaperone, but Miss Sandy Kennedy has taken over the head chaperone position this upcoming year. Did she leave already? Okay, she's got knee surgery tomorrow. And then John Everett, he's not here right now, but you will hear him during our performances. He's the voice of the Mighty Black and Gold. He's starting his 24th year as our voice as well. Look down, you'll notice student leadership there. All I'm going to say about this is this. Student leadership is a training opportunity for 30 of our students to hone their leadership skills. Now, they have been giving some authority in our band program. They are the extensions of Mr. Schultz and I when it comes to out on the field and so forth. I will tell you this, student leaders are going to make some mistakes. And we call them back in, reel them back in, and go, whoa, you can't do that. Okay, but I know that when I came through the band program, it was the tool that really catapulted me into the leadership positions that I've taken on professionally since then. Okay, you'll see we've got drum majors that conduct the band, kind of in charge of the marching band. We have captains, co-captains, we have section leaders and assistant section leaders in each section. They're there to help work music, to work drill, and so forth. You'll notice that we have a couple of uniform officers that are in charge of uniforms that kind of do all the checks and balances for uniforms. We've got a couple officers in charge of the music library. When students have a music issue, you'll see the music library officers. And then we have 3 students that we call facilities officers that are in charge of making sure that everybody puts their stuff away, make sure that everything's where it needs to be. That takes the load off Mr. Schultz and I. So we're not having to run back here and deal with music and run over and deal with the uniforms and so forth. So there is a student leadership team, and you'll meet those at the sneak preview. You'll probably hear a lot about them before then, I promise you. Okay, students sometimes have a difficult time taking instructions from other students, and we'll preach. We'll talk about that some this week as well. If you'll flip the page, you'll see we're on page 5. You'll see contact information from Mr. Schultz and I for our head chaperone, and then of course Ms. Byers, who's still helping but is exiting as our head chaperone. For our executive board for the Band Parent Association, you'll see cell phones, you'll see emails, and so forth. And that's there for you to utilize as needed. Now, we'll ask this. If there's a question that, guys, I've got a family just like the rest of you. If there's a question that can wait till we're in office time,
if you could wait to do that, if it's an emergency, you need to contact me, by all means, any 24 hours a day, you can text me or Mr. Schultz, okay? But if it's something like, hey, do they need shoes for rehearsal today? Okay, we get bombarded, you'd be surprised. Okay, so, but it is there, if you need us, by all means, contact us. You see the band room numbers there, and our cell phone numbers. Flip the page 6. You'll see right here where you can find us on the web, all the different ways. Notice at the bottom as well, Remind Texting Program. You'll see that there are 3 sections for band parents, okay? And I don't care if you sign up for the performing ensemble text groups, if your kid's in it, that's fine. But these are ways that we can text with students. It's Remind is a tool for teachers, actually, that was put out for teachers. And so you'll see, like all band parents, if you want general information, let's say that it's a Tuesday night rehearsal, there's a major front coming through, and there's tornado watches and warnings. This would be our way of going, sending out a text, band rehearsals been canceled. We don't cancel for that kind of stuff. But let's use that as an example, okay? So, no, we're gonna march, all right? But that's our way of getting the word out to you quickly. Now, we're not gonna use it to go, hey, Miss Smith, Jimmy's not feeling well. This is for us to send out group text of general information, okay? How would you do that? Depending on your phone, you can put in the numbers 81010, okay? And then just simply in the text box, put the word at, or the at symbol, band adults. And the first time you do it, it's going to send you a text back asking for your name. Put your name in, and then that pops up on our computer screen so we can see who all's enrolled in our class, is what it's called on the screen. And that way we know who everybody is in there. And then anytime any other groups you sign up for, we'll remind after that, it'll remember your name and your number. Okay? Any questions thus far? Moving on. Flip the next page. Page 7 is Charms. Mr. Schultz went over this a minute ago. This has all things Charms on it. This is how you log in to that system. As he shared with you earlier, you see down last name lowercase, graduation year. Okay, remember, guys, we may have 3 different students whose last name is Smith that's in the 9th grade this year. So if you put in Smith 2021, right? Yeah, 2021, if you put that in and it doesn't take you to your child's, back out of it. Okay, or if it tells you insufficient, then let's say it's Amy Smith, put in A Smith 2021. Okay, try that, and then that should work. That's the only reason we have to add the first initial, is if it duplicates.
If y'all have any trouble at all logging into that, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'll help you out with it.
Yeah, and again, it's going to ask you to set the password. You're going to create a password that we cannot see once you log in the first time. And once you log in there as well, if your child did not add you as a parent, there's a tab that says Add Parent. Go ahead and add all your information, your email. That way you get our emails as well. Okay? Please do that. You'll be surprised how much that will help you. And we try not to bombard you. Usually once per week, if there's something special, we may send out a second email during the week on that as well. But please make sure you sign up for that. It is a great system. If that password, if you forget it, email Mr. Schultz, or you can email me and I'll forward it to Mr. Schultz, and we can reset it back to the original, but we can't see your password. Okay? We can reset it. Flip the page. Moving on.
Can I ask a question about Charms?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
I knew in the area in middle school we were going to use Charms. Did it follow us?
No, ma'am, but we don't connect with the middle schools. Our kids, when we brought them over for 8th grade band day, they entered it. If they didn't, see me and let me know. We'll make sure you're on the computer. Okay? All right, guys. If you'll flip over, Mr. Schultz mentioned this earlier. This is the coolest thing. This is the syncing page. If you've got a smartphone, okay, as I think most of us probably do nowadays. I think they still sell the flip phones, right? Okay. But guys, what you can do, you can look at the instructions on here. You can sync it with your smartphone. My wife can say, hey, do we have something next Tuesday? And I can flip over and go, yes, dear, we have color guard count at 8 o'clock to 12 noon that day. Okay? And anytime that Mr. Schultz and percussion camp that night, and there's a booster meeting, okay, which is our normal schedule, okay, packed. But it will sync your phone. If Mr. Schultz goes in and changes something or adds something, it will sync directly to your phone so that you see it as well. Okay? So I encourage you to take advantage of that. Let's flip the page. I mean, you get bogged down. Member expectations. Not going to go over those with you. We're going to go over these with the band, but I wanted you to have a copy. You can see that we've got expectations for rehearsals, for performances, when we're on bus trips, or certain behavior we expect on the buses. Okay? In the band room and just in general. Again, what I will mention to you, if you look at those in general ones, if they can't attend the rehearsal, notice number one, if they're sick, have a death in the family or family emergency, please contact us in advance, okay, and then make sure they fill out the absence appeal forms with a note when they come back. Remember, they gotta maintain a 2.0, we request a 2.5, the state says 2.0 or they can't participate, all right? If we have to go through paperwork if that happens. Good citizen of the community, guys, if they get in trouble outside of Milton High School, it could jeopardize their standing in the band. If they're arrested for shoplifting at the Circle K across the street, that could affect their relationship, their relationship with the high school band. Again, we want high quality people in the band program, and that's to protect all the kids. Okay, so please understand. Let's flip the page. Just show us if I miss anything, yell out. We have consequences for actions. If they do things wrong, as we share with our leadership, we have consequences for bad behavior and so forth. These are just a list of some of those things that we can do. And it is not to try to punish kids, it's to try to curb their behavior to make it towards the right behavior, what we're looking for. That's a list of that kind of stuff. If it's outside, sometimes it's push-ups, it's running laps, it's different things that are going to help strengthen them for marching band. And then we have different things for inside infractions and so forth. You can see those consequences there near the bottom of what we have them do. The next few pages are great bedtime reading. I'm not really going to go over those, but if you want to know what all we perform with, the required performances, okay, performance opportunities such as honor bands they can try out for, all that is listed there. Bottom of page 12, and I know I'm going fast, I understand that. If your head's swimming, I apologize. Page 12, attendance policies, again, we ask that you let us know where they are and that they fill out the appropriate paperwork when they get back. Page 13 talks about the time expectations. I will tell you this for the marching band, it is kind of timely, okay? But our kids have to learn to utilize their time. We don't start school at Milton High School until 9:15 in the morning. So our rehearsals, a lot of times we're waiting. Our football team, we share the same field. They go in the afternoons, which I'd much rather go at night under the lights. I'm glad they go in the afternoons because it's much cooler at night and I don't like to sweat. But we go on Monday night, Tuesday night from 6 to 9:30, right out here on the practice field. And then on Thursday afternoons, once football season starts, from 4 to 6:30. And that's usually our dress rehearsal to get ready for Friday's football game. That's when school starts. Usually during concert season, we have one day a week after school with the Panther Band, concert band, symphonic band, January, February, early March. Okay, and that spells that out for you there. You can see football games, parades, festivals, competition, concert season, all the other things that we do. Now, what I will ask is look at the bottom of page 14. Give me a chance to turn there. Prior to following rehearsals and performances, usually Monday and Tuesday afternoons, from 3:30 to about 5:30, we try to lock up. That gives Mr. Schultz a little bit of time. Now, I will tell you that he stays up here more than he does, than we lock up, okay? I try to go home and take a nap or something, because I'm old. You know, I gotta get a nap in so I can stay up past 10:39. But we'll usually open the band room back up at 5:40. The students can stay up here. We do have some to do. That's why we have picnic tables to sit out here, they do their homework, or they hike over to Whataburger, and they sit at Whataburger and do their homework in the afternoon before practice. Some students go home, grab a snack, parents bring them back up here before 6, and then they do their homework when they get home that night, or some they can get up early the next morning. That's what my girls did. So they stay up late because they can sleep till about 8:30 or so, but they have to be at school. Friday football games, we'll leave the band room open. We always have an adult that comes up here and sits so that we can leave the band room open, because most of the time our call times for football games are usually between 5:15, 5 o'clock if we have to go away, to 6 o'clock if we're at home. Okay, so the band will stay open for that. And then something else about rehearsals, the school district says that we have to wait 30 minutes after rehearsal before we leave. We're not gonna leave a kid up here at 10:30 at night, but we do ask that you help us out with that as well, because there are times that would be an hour after rehearsal and we're still sitting here waiting on parents. And we know things come up and we understand that. But I will say this, usually we go to 6 to 9:30. What that means is at 9:30, we're out here on the field going, let's make this marching band go, pride, what? And they're doing their little conclusion cheer. We're doing that, which means they're probably not gonna be getting in the car at 9:30, because by the time they do that, by the time they wrap up with their friends and their sections down there, and they come up here and put their instrument away, it's usually about 9:40, 9:45. Because every year we'll have a parent come and go, I thought y'all got done at 9:30. Well, we do. Your kids aren't done at 9:30, because they still gotta put things away, okay? So, good rule of thumb, and I'm a band parent, of course I live here all the time, but I'm with you, I had kids in middle school band, and I was probably the worst band parent when my kids were in middle school band. This lady would call and she's like, you don't come get to Abigail? Oh, crap, I forgot about that one. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm in my band room. Did you walk? So anyway, but if you'll just kind of understand that usually about 10 to 15 minutes after, because they've got to do their settle down or their ritual, come put their instrument up, circle around 3 times, high five their friends, that kind of stuff. Band uniforms. Let's look at this next page. Now we have a band uniform. Part of this band uniform, our Band Parents Association pays for, and there's a part that we ask our students to help fundraise or help us to raise the money for. Some things that kind of changed there with the school district a little bit. But Mr. Schultz, let's show them the uniform. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with summer.
Okay, first of all, we have a summer uniform that our students wear about the first 2 or 3 games. We'll wear it some for like the homecoming parade, different things. It is a polo shirt. It is usually, it comes in a size medium, and it has our band logo on it, usually on the sleeve. I think this is a generic one. Oh, it does. It has their name and their instrument, okay? And this is part of their summer uniform, okay? It's a $35 shirt. We get them here locally. They're on Rotary. Our band parents in years past, they get a gold color and have theirs. I'm Jimmy's mom, and no, I'm not Jimmy's mom, but you know what I mean, okay? And they get, the parents do that as well. But with the polo shirt, what we ask is for black dress shorts. Now, I'm not talking about the athletic shorts with the white stripes. I'm talking about something with a button and a zipper kind of thing, okay?
They can have pockets on
They can have pockets, that's fine. But black shorts for that, and then primarily white tennis shoes. What I mean by that, white tennis shoes, they can have some color on them, but they don't need to be like half red and half white, okay? Or especially red, white, and blue, because that's page. Okay, so, but if you have questions about the summer uniform, let us know. We'll be getting out more information as we go. Also, we'll be providing the students with well, that's not a right shirt, that's a Blackwater Classic shirt. So we'll be providing our students with our halftime show shirt, which looks sort of like that, except it has our logo on it. Then we'll have our show theme on the back. So
the show theme is developed by our students. They draw it up and they
the design.
Yeah.
We let the students vote on that. Now, that's the band shirts are for them to wear a lot of times at football games, we'll ask them to wear their band shirt under the uniform. It's a black shirt, and that way you don't have like a little red collar that's showing and so forth. But then we have our uniform, okay? Our uniform, the part that is provided by the Band Parent Association is the coat, which zips in the back.
You want to put them on?
No, man, I don't know who's wore that coat. I wouldn't put it on, okay? So the sash is provided, and the gauntlets are provided as well. Okay, the Band Parent Association purchases those. Some personal items that we ask the students to help fundraise towards are what we call bibbers. If you don't know, these are pants, but they come up to about this high. Okay, so when they're lifting instruments and their coat comes up, you don't see whatever they're wearing underneath it. Okay, the helmet and the plume. What we learned a few years ago was that the kids always wanted to keep their helmet. Okay, and we went to these metallic helmets, and it's like, well, we want to take care of them too, and not be kicking around the parking lot. So the helmet and the plume is something that we ask students to fundraise towards. Okay, you see it's a regimental style helmet. Isn't that sharp looking? You gotta see it when the lights hit it. It looks like glitter on the field.
The new ones look so good.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
Yeah, after 4 years, they start to lose their luster, if you know what I mean. And band shoes. I don't think they brought any band shoes out. Yeah, grab some. Okay, we use the flat black military style shoes, military dress shoes type thing that are. Yeah, there we go. We used to get those from Bango Shoes out of Georgia. Now, in that, we will order. Listen, we will size them. We will order all of these supplies for them. But I do want you to know about the band uniforms. It does cost $195. Okay, and we ask that they help fundraise. We ask that they help provide donations towards these and so forth towards theirs. Yes, ma'am.
That includes the polo shirt?
It does include the polo shirt. Yes, you'll see a breakdown there on the top.
Black t-shirt.
Yeah, it does. That's part of the fair share donation. Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
what if the parent wants the polo shirt?
The polo shirt you'll handle. The Band Parent Association handles the parents.
Yeah, we're gonna put out a order form for the band parents stuff at a later meeting.
Yeah.
I will say we're sizing for all this stuff. The brass is sizing tomorrow. The woodwinds are sizing on Wednesday.
For the rookies, yeah. We've already the upper class have already been resized or been sized. If they've got to make a change, the upperclassmen come in on Wednesday. You'll notice on here the uniform care is listed in the handbook for you. And then I mentioned the summer uniforms earlier. And again, that's the white polo shirt, the black dress shorts, and the primarily white tennis shoes. That's what we wear like for the first few football games because it's so hot. Yes, ma'am. That is something Ms. Bird will be giving you guys information on the color bar. That's, has she not, have y'all not received that information yet? And I have not seen her since last week to get that. Yes?
Tuba players don't have helmets, is that right?
That's right, we take that off. There's certain front ensemble tubas don't march with helmets. Tubas can't because they can't get their tuba on. So that you can deduct that amount from it. And we go on the computer and deduct that amount already, so, okay? Other questions, real quick? You want me to try that on? Really? It looks like a size small, maybe? Okay. I want these people to come down.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with this uniform again. They used to change uniforms every year, but I do believe Miss Bird is wanting to use the same uniform to where they.
Yeah, I think so. So I think it's the same amount if I remember right. Okay. Now, guys, flip the page, and I've got a lot of stuff I'm trying to move through because I know your time's valuable. Next page, you will see the marching band budget. This is what it cost us. I'm thrilled. Over the last few years, our fair share, which we're now calling the fair share donation, I'll explain that in just a few minutes to you, is has gone down from $425 to where this year it's $225. Went down to $325 last year because we took some trips out. We're going to Biloxi to compete and started hosting our own marching band competition. The school district actually, we found out here a couple of weeks ago, is going to be providing our transportation to football games and our transportation to marching festivals in the 3-county area. So that has taken anywhere between $12,000 and $20,000 off of our budget, which is huge. Okay, and has allowed us to bring our expenses down. But you'll see all the different things there that we still have to spend money on that it takes to make this marching band go about $48,000. Okay, in the past it's been as high as $75,000 to get the marching band places. And to provide everything they need. You'll see that our total per person fair share donation, what we're asking is that we got 2 different tiers there, $225 for tier 1, $300 for tier 2. We shared with you earlier that that if you volunteer at 3 different money-making type events, you can knock $25 off. That's what the tier 2 and the tier 1, that's the difference. So $225. Now here's the beauty of what we've been doing and we'll continue to do. We do quite a few fundraisers with our band. And 100% of the profit from those fundraisers, your child goes out, like we're doing cookie dough right now, and they've sold, they make $200 profit on the cookie dough. That goes towards that uniform, okay? And that goes towards that fair share donation. So that helps 100%. We don't keep anything except it comes into our bookkeeper up here, and we put that in their account that they've helped to meet that part of our budget. Does that make sense?
You got tier 1 and tier 2. Can you repeat who?
Yeah, it's we'll get next page will make sense, I promise. So do me a favor, flip our school-owned instruments real quick. Let me cover this. This is the Santa Rosa County School District thing. Those that play school-owned instruments. Now, guys, I'll tell you from the school district the amount we get for the band to purchase new instruments and to maintain those instruments. For example, we send a tuba off just for the summer, just to have it what they call ultrasonic cleansing. And get everything re-oiled and ready to go will cost us in the neighborhood of $250. From the school district, we get about $6,500 a year is what we get. $6,500. I can buy 1 tuba for $6,000, 1 marching sousaphone for $6,500. That's what 1 sousaphone costs, okay? So a lot of this that we do, we still have to do on our own. So there's a maintenance fee that the school district allows us to charge, and that is $50. For those that play percussion, it goes towards sticks, drum heads to replenish the broken heads and all that take place on the percussion. For tubas, for French horns, if they're using one of our instruments, tenor sax, bass sax, bass clarinet, there's a $50 instrument maintenance fee that is charged to that as well. Okay, and that's later on in the year you'll see as we get to the timeline. So flip the page. I'm gonna read this next part. So some things have changed here recently, and I want to make sure that you guys understand. This says, member of the MHS band, we're asking each student to contribute or fundraise their fair share of our marching band budget. The fair share donation helps to cover the cost of certain uniform parts, social events, support staff, various other expenses associated with marching band. It also helps to cover many of the operational costs not incurred by the school district. The Santa Rosa County School District does require us to call this amount a donation. Whereas we would never withhold anything from a student due to financial issues, please understand that if the band program doesn't have the necessary funds to operate, we will have to discontinue services and goods until we can raise or secure those funds. Therefore, we ask everyone to do their fair share in helping us to meet our budget. Remember, as a donation, you may claim this amount on your taxes, but also know that it's also non-refundable. So if you start paying your child quits, since it's a donation, we cannot give you the money back. Okay? A detailed marching band budget has been provided in this handbook. The fair share per member for the 2017-18 years, $225, $300 per member. And then you'll notice what I've done here is I've broken that down for you, okay? But listen to me, eyeballs on me for a minute. In my last 23 years, and I will never do this, I have never told a kid, you can't get on the bus and go to the football game, okay? I know that there are different financial needs with families, and all we simply ask is for folks to communicate with us. And for each of our members, there's an expectation of having a work ethic, because I think if they work hard for something, it makes it worth it. Does that make sense to you? But never will I tell a kid, you can't get a uniform because your fair share donation's not paid. But again, we're asking everybody to do their fair share, because if the money runs out in October, then we have to stop right there, and we can meet every day, and we can do some fun stuff here on the campus. But the extra stuff that we provide for our kids will be unable to do until we can secure those funds. So does everybody follow me on that? So I want to make sure you understand that. Now, new members, notice I've given you sort of a timeline to help spread this thing out. And listen, we are always here to work with you, and will continue to be. But to ask you to help us out here with this, so that we know that we're getting some funds in as the year goes, because our bills, man, at the beginning of football season, they add up quickly. I mean, they escalate. Well, so we have to get bills paid. But new members, we asked fair share donation number 1, and we put this in the packets that we sent out a few weeks ago with when our eighth grader, incoming ninth graders came over. $50 by June 8th to show your commitment to participate in the band. And then you see on July 14th, another $50 towards the fair share donation. And then notice on August the 11th, another $75. And you may not have noticed this yet, we've got fundraisers that coincide. Like right now, we're finishing up Cookie Day. Okay, we'll have 2 more fundraisers this summer alone once we come back. But notice the uniform donation number 1, $75 by August 11th. Fair share donation number 3, $50 by August the 25th, which is a total of $225 paid. Okay, $150 towards your fair share, $75 towards your uniform, and you can read the rest of that. $75 September 15th, $50 by September 29th, to where eventually by October the 27th, which is right there near the end of our marching season, you'll see that all of your fair share is paid and all of your uniform is paid. Does that make sense to you? So, and if you can't meet the suggested schedule, by all means, see us. Notice the school-owned instrument fee. Those that have the school-owned instruments, we're asking for that by the end of January. We'll be doing more fundraisers, trust me. And then, of course, that one tier, the first tier, second tier, the working off the 3 volunteer things by May the 4th. So you've got all school year to work that out. And if you didn't get a chance to work it out, you just want to make the payment of $75, that's fine too. Okay? But that's what we ask of new members. That's the breakdown schedule. That's where the rubber hits the road. $195 for the uniform. Now here's the beauty of the uniform parts. Once you purchase their pants and their shoes and their helmet, unless they outgrow their pants and shoes, they can use them all 4 years. This is an expense you won't have their 10th grade year. Now some of them are growing like weeds. Okay? And halfway through the season, like, hey, these pants don't fit me no more. Okay, I think you're going to see they'll lose weight once we hit marching season here this summer. Okay? Any questions about that right now that I can answer that would help the group? And I always hate talking about the money side of it. It's just a part of it, though. Yes?
But pretty much all these fees that we're paying is pretty much everything that was here going in the handbook all the way to the end.
Yes, sir.
So there isn't like a total fee of what your kid's gonna owe. Pretty
Well,
much
it's the $195 and the $225, or if you work the 3 things, if you don't work the 3 things.
$50 school maintenance fee for the.
Well, that's on top. That's different, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So all those other, but like how do we know we're gonna pay that school maintenance fee and all? Is it gonna be in the tiered section too? Or,
It'll show up in your Charms account as school instrument maintenance fee. So you'll go into that financial thing, and Ms. Weaver will put that in probably sometime in January.
Okay, so it'll notify us when we need to pay.
Yes, sir, it'll be in Charms. And we'll send out email reminders as well. Good question, though. Yes.
Can you just go ahead and make the first
Absolutely.
call?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Listen, this is what happened years ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've done this a long time. And a few years back, I'm talking about when I say a few years, 18 years ago, we were doing all these fundraisers, and I had some band parents say, will you just tell me what I owe you so I don't have to do fundraisers anymore? And so that's where we came up with this, to be honest with you. Because I'm the same way, Now, I take that back. I'm not the same way. We fundraise all of our girls' stuff. But I've got connections in town and hit up different teachers and different things like that. So I know where to go to. So fair share donations. Guys, checks payable to Milton High School Band, MHS Band, okay, would be fine. Yes, ma'am.
Can I go back real quick to helmets for tubas? That, whatever they wear
Berets.
Berets.
We get those because
Is there
they're
a
cheap.
peep? Okay, we don't
They're
have.
cheap. We wear those, yeah.
In front ensemble does not work.
Right, helmets, yeah. It's not earlier. Okay, so checks. Now listen, any cash, if the student brings it in, any cash, what we ask is that they bring it to the office because we will write a receipt. You'll be surprised how many of the parents go, I sent $100 in, why ain't it showing up in charms? And it's like, well, we ain't seen $100 in the box. You know? Well, I know Johnny put $100 in the, well, we come to find out Johnny's still sitting back in his backpack. You know, we start searching and there's Johnny's $100. So we do ask if it's cash that they bring it into the office. You'll notice as well, we're collecting for fundraisers, they bring it into the office to us and we count it up as well during that time. Now again, on the bottom right there, difficulty with fair share donations. Guys, if you're having difficulties, listen, communicate with us. That's all I'm asking you. I also have some resources. I know some programs in Santa Rosa County. We've done this long enough that we can send you to, and if you qualify, they'll help. A lot of them will pay up to $300 to help a student out if they need help with something in school. Okay? So please communicate with me and see me on that. All right? Yes?
If you have two or more children in the band, if you want to send one check, that's fine. Just write on the bottom who it's for and how it's to be split. And that way you don't have to write a check out for both of your, or for either four of your kids or whatever.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. Appreciate that. Flip the page, guys. Page 18. Band Parent Association Volunteer Incentive. That's what we're talking about. Working 3 shifts with a Band Parent Association to knock off $25 per shift. Now, if it's 2 parents working 1 shift, it knocks off $25 to $50 total. So if the 2 of you want to come up the same night, mom and dad, or grandma and dad, or whatever, and work, it knocks off $25 per shift. Only up to 3 times. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, after that, we appreciate your volunteer service. We really appreciate your volunteer service. Yes. Yeah, so one of them, you can not work that 3rd one. So it's $25 per shift work up to 3. If you do whatever kind, one parent can work 3 shifts and 3 different events and you get it on. So does that make sense? Everybody follow me? So 3 up and every 3 shifts, up to 3 shifts, $25 per shift. Okay? Notice some of our fundraisers. I wrote those out, put those down for you. The cookie dough began in May. We turned that in June 7th. Guys, since we're not going to see the whole band, the cookie dough is not going to arrive until the first week of band camp. Okay? And we have 2 rehearsals before that that are so busy getting ready for band lock-in and so forth. We're going to have it arrive that first week of band camp. Notice that. Car Wash-a-thon. Let me explain that to you real quick. Begins on June the 10th. I don't know where I have that from. The big event is July the 22nd. Okay? What we're going to do is send out Car Wash-a-thon pledge sheets. We do this. We've done this every year, and some kids make $300 or $400. Okay? What you're doing is taking this out to family and friends and people you work with and say the Milton High School Band is giving a free car wash on Saturday. It's right in the middle of band camp, July the 22nd. We've got Mr. Schultz has 4 locations. 5 locations around Milton, and we do this car wash. It's free from 9 to 2. Now here's the beauty, okay? Let's say your child goes out, they hit up 20 people that each get 5 cents per car. So they're making $1 a car. We usually wash about 200, 250 cars combined at all of our locations during that 5-hour span. So when they come back after the car wash that next Monday, we give them a sheet to take back out that says we washed 250 cars. If you pledge 5 cents, this is how much you owe us. Okay, so let's say we did 200 cars, they pledged 5 cents. That person, Uncle Joe, gives you $10. All right, Uncle Joe had 2 cars at home that he brought up there and had washed. The beauty, we used to do the car wash that was $5 a car, and we'd have 20 kids split $250. All right. So the beauty in this is that they get pledges. If they get $2 in pledges, we wash 200 cars. They just make $400. They just paid off their fair share, most of the uniform, and they're ready to start earning money towards the other stuff. Okay, does that make sense to you? So you'll be seeing information real soon that we'll be sending out about that. Again, it's a pledge sheet. They bring their pledges in to us, and then all the band kids are asked to be here that Saturday right in the middle of band camp, even if they didn't get pledges. They sign up for the locations. They each work a 3-hour shift. Yep, right? Yeah, they each work a 3-hour shift. We have one team that works from like 8 o'clock in the morning, or 8:30 to 11:30, and then the other shift comes in from like 11 to 2, okay? And we got big professional made signs that say free car wash. Great chance to make money right there. Because, you know, I don't know about you, I'll pull into a free car wash. And then usually I'm giving money, oh, here, you're taking a donation, you got me, okay? So we got that going on. Coca-Cola truckload sale, we'll be selling the cases of Coke, the 20-ounce bottles, okay? We'll be selling those, we'll do a truckload sale. We'll get you more information about that, a great chance to make money. Everybody drinks Coke, okay? And it's usually about $24, $25 or so. For those 20 ounce, for 24 of those that you pay $1.89 or $1.79 at the Tom Thumb for those 20 ounce bottles. Kitchen knife fundraiser, yes, that sounds funny, we sell knives, but it's the Rada cutlery, which is great cutlery. If some of you guys have been around for a few years, may remember the cafeteria workers used to sell this Rada cutlery for years, okay? Great stuff. We'll do some Yankee candles in early October, Florida Indian River Grove Citrus, late October, and Honey Baked Town gift cards. Those are just a few. We'll have probably 5 or 6 more. That kind of gets you started in the school year of some of the things that you'll be seeing coming out for fundraisers. Again, not required to participate, but it's there as a tool for those that need it. Okay? Spring band trip, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But every year, traditionally, since I was in the band, the Milton Band has taken an annual trip. We have a rotation of trips. That rotation includes this upcoming year, a cruise aboard the Carnival Fantasy to Cozumel in March. Next year, help me out, Mr. Schultz, is Atlanta and the Smoky Mountains. New students, 11th grade year will be Washington, D.C., New York City, and the 12th grade year will be Orlando. Okay? These trips are simply optional, and yes, it requires that students work hard on fundraisers and all that on the flip side of things once they get all this stuff. Again, it's an optional kind of thing. I'll give you some more information about that spring band trip a little bit later. Checkout procedures for away performances. We're at an away football game. You want your child to ride home with you. What we do ask is that we get a note before we leave, if possible. If not, we're going to be out in the parking lot. Ask you to write a note so that we have some kind of documentation. We ask that you wait until we get back to the buses. After a football game, the band will march out together back to the buses so we can start putting our instruments away and getting that loaded on our 2 band trucks. And so that's where we'll ask that you check them out. Please don't try to leave with them from the bleachers. Okay, it kind of messes up the system because there are cases on the truck. And we'll never have a kid say, my mom's waiting in the parking lot on the other side of the school at 10:30 at night. We're at Pine Forest High School. We wouldn't do that. Okay, mom's going to have to come around with the band buses to check them out. I just want you to understand that up front, and that'll help with any confusion. Flip the page. Contact information. I've given you our band room number, our cell phone numbers, our emails. I've given you Milton High School attendance. If your child's sick from school, that number's right there as well. And of course, Charm's office. Told you a little bit of something about the MHS Band Parent Association as well. And then you'll see one of our mottos that you'll hear our band cheer, because together we are the mighty black and gold. Flip the page. The next 2 pages I'm not going to go over. This is a conditioning exercise program that we put them through, sort of the couch to 5K. They're going to be coming home telling you about it this week, trust me. Okay? So, because again, we need them in good physical condition when they're out there on the field, marching for 8.5 minutes straight and having to blow on an instrument or beat on a drum or spin a flag or a rifle and dance at the same time and all that. We've got to make sure that they're in good shape. Flip the next page. We're on page 22. Band letter year bar application. I just want you to see this. That's why we put it in the packet for all our kids. But our kids can qualify for their letter. Everybody's heard their letter, which is the big block M. Ms. Schultz, you'll grab one of those. That goes on the band jacket. Okay, if they get a band jacket, if not, a lot of them, it's too hot for Letterman jackets in Florida. I've said that for years. Okay, a lot of them can do the shadow boxes, which are kind of cool. Never mind, if it's not, I thought it was right there behind you. But after they get their band letter, they get their year bar, their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year band. That have to have certain points. That's the system. I'm not going to go over it. You can read it. If you have questions, let me know. Flip the next page, page 23. That's the absence appeal form. When your kid misses, you've notified us, you write the note. That's what's in front of the money box over there that they get, they fill out. That's just an example for you to see. That's what it looks like. Everybody good thus far? Flip the next page. Most important document I'm going to give you right here tonight for you. The rehearsal schedule. This is pretty much our year right here. This is a great sheet. These last few sheets, I'm going to ask you to rip them out of your band packet when you get home. Okay? Take this, put it on your refrigerator. You'll also have it on your phone if you sing the Charms but you'll see when our rehearsals are. August 7th to the October 26th, Mondays and Tuesdays 6 to 9:30, Thursdays 4 to 6:30. And then notice on November 2nd, week of the Pace game, I believe it is, we only practice for an hour and a half after school. If we have playoff games, the marching band meets for an hour and a half through the playoff season. We're gonna have playoff games, right, Coach? Yeah, okay, good. So, an hour and a half. Guys, that's because our marching band is split into 5 different classes, okay? So the only time we get to practice together is after school with the marching band. Okay, so that's why that's there. Notice on here, I've given you a chronological order of football games, where they are. Now, the times are kind of predicted. Milton High School starts all our games at 7:30. Not all other schools do. Some of them I know are at 7 o'clock, because they're always at 7 o'clock. But you'll see that the band goes to all away football games. We're at all home football games. Notice the dates that are bolded in the middle. September 30th, the Blackwater Classic Marching Festival at Milton High School. That's the competition that we started hosting last year. We had 16 bands from around the area, from Baldwin County, Alabama, from Montgomery, and then some from over at Walton County and Holmes County as well. Were over here last year. So that's the one that we host. That's a great money maker for our Band Parent Association. That's where we started saving about $10,000 a year in transportation by not having to travel to another competition. We decided to host our own, and we do exhibition. Notice on October 13th, that is not correct. See the one that says October 13th, Santa Rosa County Band Exhibition? I forgot to delete that today. Draw a line through that, please. Okay? I recycle every year, and I go back there and try to change it. Sometimes I miss something. October 14th, FBA District 1 Marching NPA. That is our big state-sanctioned event right there. That's the biggie. These 3 bold ones that you got on here, 4 bold ones, please make sure your calendars are X'd out on that. Please make sure you don't plan a family reunion on one of those weekends. We need every kid because we're being evaluated. Okay? Please, that's when we give this to you so far in advance. And we know that sometimes there's some things you can't control, and we get that, but please try to get these marked off. October 17th is the Santa Rosa County Band Exhibition. That Tuesday afterwards, after FBA. Probably at Pace High School. What that is, you may ask, that's where all 5 of the high school marching bands in Santa Rosa County, we all get together. During the school year, we don't get to see each other perform. So that gives us a chance. It's open, it's free to the public. We all gather up with different high school every year. It's time for Pace to host this year. We gather up, and each band goes down and goes through a quick warm-up, and we perform for each other in uniform. Because usually the football game, we're on the back sideline, or in the end zone, or if we're away at Florida Bandmasters, we're in the warm-up area. When they're on the field, we don't get to see each other perform. And this is something, this will be our 4th one. 5th one. 5th one, yeah. This will be our 5th one. So I encourage you to come out if you want to see Pace, Milton, Guff Breeze, Navarre, and Jay High School perform. That's a great opportunity on October 17th. Notice October 20th, if you want to make weekend plans, that is our open weekend. We don't have anything that weekend. No football game, no nothing, okay? Me and Mr. Schultz use that to vacation because our birthday is that next week. It's October 23rd, my 24th. We always go out of town. October 28th will be our final marching competition, the Deep South Classic at Theodore High School, other side of Mobile. And then notice when you look down at the bottom there, you'll see some Santa Rosa All County, when our fall break and Thanksgiving is, the Milton Christmas Parade. Our Christmas concert is already on there. Our Christmas party is already on there. Christmas break. You'll see all of our stuff for the spring, from FBA District Concert NPA to our band trip, even to our spring concert, our band banquet in the next year, which we just had a couple of weeks ago, okay? And graduation. Now, we just got out of school last Friday, and I'm already showing you when next year's last day of school is. I'm going to give you a piece of advice, parents. Don't blink. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't blink. Because all of a sudden you're going to be like here, and then you go, where did the year go? That's the good thing about being busy with a band. Don't blink. Okay? Any question about that calendar? We're almost out of the handbook here. Medical form. We've already sent these out, but here's you a copy to tear off. Guys, this is the form that we need before the band lock in. Okay? This is the form that if we were to have an emergency, if we're away somewhere, even at home, and trust me, we use these quite a few times during the year. If we're at home and a kid goes down and we have to take them over to the ambulance, we usually have a medical team that's with us, but let's say their blood pressure's dropping, we have to get them to the ambulance. The first thing we grab is that medical form. Or if we've had to go to the hospital with a kid, if we're away and something happens to a kid, we have to go to the hospital, we take that medical form, the book of medical forms everywhere we go. This is what we hand a doctor or nurse and go, here's what their allergies are. Here's what you need to know about them, okay, or any kind of illnesses or symptoms. Please, if you will, get this turned in before band camp. This allows us as well, except during school hours, when the school year starts, to give them non-prescription medications. Unless you list it on there, if they've got a tummy ache, we can give them Pepto-Bismol. Or if they've got a headache, we can give them Tylenol or Advil. Okay? Or if they've got a bad sprain, we can give them, some over-the-counter type medication for that. Okay? Does that make sense? Important form. We really need that. As a matter of fact, we're going to be tracking them down before they leave on the lock-in, going, where's your medical form? Flip to the next page 27. That front and back is medical form. That next one is a parent volunteer form. Guys, we want you to plug in, but we need to know what your talents are. So what we're asking as well, that night of the band lock-in, I put Monday, it's not Monday, I don't think, maybe it is. By Monday, July 17th, so it's the Monday afterwards. If you can fill this out, what we do is we utilize these. Let's say, for example, you're good at baking, you're interested in working at our Crawfish Festival in the spring, or organizing a 5K run, or hey, you're great at refrigeration and AC repair. We need to know where our talents are. We worked hard putting this form together, okay? Because if our AC breaks in the concession stand, we need to know that, hey, we can call Billy's dad, because Billy's dad knows how to do AC repair, okay? So you can see there's all kinds of things. We're working on website stuff, all kinds of things. There's even some ideas on there. We don't have a golf tournament, but if we got some band dads that love to play golf, they can organize a tournament. Yeah, let's get after that. This is a resource for us to utilize. Okay? Notice dad, for mom, put M, for dad, put a D there, for grandparent, put G. If you'll do that, there's also an unable volunteer call as needed. If you can't do any of those things or not willing, then by all means, just mark that one. All right? So notice on the bottom, we're asking in case some new job comes up. Our friends might describe us as outgoing, nurturing, creative. That lets us know in case a new job comes up, we can look down at that list and go, hey, they glorified taxi driver. Yeah, we could use somebody like that. Okay? You with me? So please fill that out, get that in as we start band camp. And then flip to the back of that page. Here's the other form I need you to turn back in besides the medical form. And that is the student contract, which just pretty much says we have gone through this. We understand. We've received this information. Any questions about any of that thus far? A lot of stuff, I know. If your head's swimming, trust me, mine is too right now. Okay? We good? Any questions? Shadowing, alternate line. Let's talk about that. Bullet number 5, back on your agenda. Now, guys, we will have some sections where we will not put every kid in a marching position on the field. Let me explain why we do that. It is not to punish kids, okay? It's really to protect the team, the group, all right? If we've got every kid marching a whole, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to sprain an ankle, or somebody's going to have a knee problem, and hey, my doctor says, I got to have surgery, and I'm going to be out for 2 months. Well, let's see, that takes us to December now, okay? So we have shadows and alternates to utilize, number one, to help kids learn to hone their marching. But what we do with that is that we have an alternate line, a shadow line. Those kids are full-fledged members of the band, and they alternate in and out with each other. So this Friday night, Sally may perform. Next Friday night, Billy may perform. Okay? And what that does is we have a kid that moves. All of a sudden, the parents and the family moves. We've got kids that we can shift around on the field. Because this week, we've actually got to send our numbers to the drill writer. He will write our halftime show drill this week. Does that make sense to you? They're still full-fledged members. They wear a uniform. They participate in pregame, and then they alternate when it comes to the halftime show. They're involved in everything else. But it's not an emotion or anything like that. I want you to be aware of that. Other items needed for performances. We talked about the summer uniform. That's where it's spelled out to you as well as the handbook. Because I want to give you a kind of a cheat sheet here. So the band polo shirt, we showed you that white shirt with their name on it. Black dress shorts, primarily white tennis shoes. And then, of course, the formal uniform. We'll give the black t-shirt and the different things that they need there. Items needed for band camp and rehearsals, bullet number 7. We used to have a rehearsal uniform. We're getting away from that. We're trying not to go back to that this year. What we do ask, they have good appropriate marching shoes, which are not like these, but where their foot's completely surrounded, okay? Appropriate marching shoes, and that you just think about summer clothing. It's gonna be hot. So we say no blue jeans, if they wear blue jeans, they're probably gonna overheat. I mean, we're not telling they can't, but we recommend that they don't. Okay, lighter color clothing reflects the heat, where darker color clothing absorbs the heat. Some things to think about there. Hats, sunscreen, very important, okay? And sunglasses, etc. All that stuff we recommend. A towel to dry their sweat off with, all that stuff is recommended. The second thing, water cooler, thermos bottles. There's usually about 3 of them sitting under the table. Okay, but those little water cooler, those little thermos type things you can get in red with a white top, you unscrew the top, have a little spout, something like that. We give them on the field what we call gushing hose. when we're trying to move without giving them a long bathroom break. And we'll say, okay, 1 minute gush and go. If they've got something like that on the sideline with their name on it, because they're all red and white, or blue and white, but they can run over to, go, and then get back to their spot, that'll make their experience much better. We do allow the water mules, those are the backpacks. We allow those. That's fine. We want our kids to stay hydrated. That's extremely important. Okay? Music folder, we recommend, it's not necessarily a requirement, but it makes it easier. If they get a 1 or 1.5 inch binder, get some plastic sheets to put in it. They can decorate it however they want to, and we'll be giving them a lot of music, especially from marching band, that they can stuff in there and they have their music, all their music with them at all times. These are just suggestions for helping them to be more successful. Okay? Ms. Schultz, anything you want to say about any of that stuff? You're good? Other stuff, chaperone training. I know some of you are just probably are thinking about chaperone training. What an awesome experience. I will tell you this, it is hard work. If you think chaperone training means you show up, you get to just hang out with a band, man, our chaperones are up and down the bleachers, handing out water, handing out seat cushions, passing out music. Oh, there's a sick kid. We got to get this kid over here. Okay? Every once in a while, they'll get to stop and go, hey, is there a football game going on? Okay, or do the sprinkler or whatever we do our drum jams. But it's hard work. However, what we do ask, so that I know that everybody's on the same page, is that you attend one of our chaperone training sessions. Okay? We will do those. The two that I'm planning on are after our Band Parent Association meetings. Okay? After the July and the August Band Parent Association meetings. So the one in July and the one after band camp. Okay? I'll do others if needed, but usually we get everybody in those first 2 meetings at the beginning of football season. And it's about a 30-minute meeting afterwards, and I'll tell you, this is what you can expect if this situation happens. We've got a little sheet that we go down of what's expected from chaperones. Okay? So, wanted to make you aware of that. Shish Kebab Meat Stickings, Ms. Rhonda, you mentioned one of those earlier.
Yes,
When's the first one?
June 12th,
Which is next Monday.
Monday.
Yes, next Monday.
And it'll be about, let me pull it up, hold on. I'm putting in your chaperone training today. 5 p.m. and we'll do it in a soft office session.
Right here in the back corner. Okay. Right here in the back corner. Next thing, guys, band trip. Let me talk about that. You should have received some other information about the band trip. And let me explain to you how this works. The upperclassmen have already been given the opportunity to sign up for the band trip. This will be the 3rd time that I've taken the band on a cruise. And something about that is I started going on a cruise. My wife always said, you can take the band on a cruise. I ain't going to take anything to do on a cruise. Until I went on a cruise and there was a band, and I was like, how cool is this? So the first time we went was on the Carnival Fantasy out of Mobile. And everything was great. Well, the last time we waited to the end of the summer, and then we started talking about the band trip. When we got ready to book cruises, with it being spring break, we could not get signed up for the cruise anywhere near here. Matter of fact, we couldn't get on a Carnival ship. We had to go on a Royal Caribbean ship out of Port Canaveral. And we went to the Bahamas and so forth. And so I said, that is not going to happen again. And so we have been in contact. The cruise lines require that we use one of 2 companies. We can't do this on our own. But the company that we have to use is Straight A Tours out of Orlando. Because the cruise lines will not work with teenage groups unless they're with an official company. And so Straight A Tours, we were in contact with them back in February, going, we want the Carnival Fantasy, before somebody else gets it that week. And so we've already put this information out to our upperclassmen. So if you were hearing about band trip, their deposits and all that, I had some parents that were contacting me going, how do I sign my kid up? And we were able, what we had to do is we had to get the room block, if that makes sense. We had to block a group of rooms, knowing that, and Straight A knows this, that I can add the rookie members a little bit later this summer. But we were trying to reserve that. So I've got this information on. Again, this is an optional trip. What you're going to learn, guys, we spend a lot of time with our kids, and I'm going to be honest with you. If we have kids we can't trust, they don't make it in the band program. These kids have to work hard, and during that we gain their trust, they gain our trust, and hopefully in this process we're going to gain your trust as well. Because I know I've done this for 25 years total. I know it's hard to think, I'm going to let my kid go off on a cruise ship. We've done this, we're experienced with this. But we're looking, if you'll see here, the Carnival Fantasy 4-night cruise, leaving Thursday before spring break, March the 15th, through Monday. We'll get back in Monday morning, March the 19th. This is a 4-night cruise, okay? First night you take off that evening. Second day is at sea. Third day we're in Cozumel, okay? And the 4th day we travel back across the Gulf, and Monday we arrive back. When we wake up that morning, we're in Mobile. Now, you're probably thinking, what are they going to do in Cozumel? We've done this before. I've been to Cozumel probably 15 times, okay? What we do is while we're in Cozumel, yes, we're in a foreign country, is we allow our students to sign up for different excursions. One of those excursions is free, downtown shopping. There's a group of adults and a group of students that we transport downtown in Cozumel, okay? And they just simply use the day shopping. There's some other things we let them do. There's an island tour that we do through Carnival. There's a beach break that we do. And there's also snorkeling at Shakanob Ecological Park. So we'll get them, when the whole time they're there, they're with adults, they're with a group of students, and they're on an official excursion with us. We don't go to Cozumel and go, all right, guys, see y'all tonight, okay? So it is a very organized thing. We did the same thing with Nassau 5 years ago. But you can see on here, now this is above. We talked about uniform stuff the other day, uniform fair share. We talked about the fair share donation. Some of us have the instrument maintenance fees, okay? But this is above and beyond. Now, I know you're going to look at that, because I always do, because I've been on probably about 24, 25 cruises, and I go $6.15 per student, $6.45 per adult. The first time, I was livid when I got the prices from them. I'm like, are you kidding me? I went on the Carnival website. I'm like, I can go for $400, okay? And I called Carnival and said, hey, can we book these kids? Like, can I get one adult and 6 students? Can I just book them that way and not go to the company? Well, come to find out, this includes port taxes and fees, which can be a considerable amount of money. This also includes all the gratuities, okay? So what I discovered in this is by the time everything's paid, the company's making anywhere between about $30 and $40 per person, okay? In that, it includes, you can see some of the stuff I put on here for you. What it includes with them a little bit further down, and I'll let you read this on your own. But it includes, we'll have a guide with us, we'll have $2 million in liability insurance, which I know is important to Santa Rosa County School District, because I think that's the reason they let us go, okay? Because if it's something they have to have liability on, I don't know that they would let us go. But it includes a tour guide that's on board with us and all that the whole time. But you'll see added extra expenses right there is excursion, depending on what they do. There are some free ones, or if they decide to go to Shakanob, different things, whatever the Carnival rate is, we have to pay. If they want an on-board soda plan, it's an additional $26 for the cruise. It's $6 per day. They have unsweet tea, water, lemonade. They have orange juice stuff at breakfast. So they can live without a Coca-Cola for 4 days, I'm sure. Okay, and I'm hitting this quickly. There's specialty coffees, desserts on board, souvenirs they may buy. A lot of them want to buy souvenirs in Cozumel. Any professional photos that they take and purchase on board. You'll notice on here the payment schedule. What I'm asking is that by July the 10th at the latest, that's your band trip intention form, which is the last page on here, that you get that in. Let me explain something. As I'm getting these forms in, I'm going to be contacting Straight A Tours this summer, okay? And saying, hey, I need to add 2 more cabins. I've got 7 more students, okay? Or I need to add 2 more adult cabins. Usually adults stay 2 to 3 per cabin, all right? I'm hoping that by July the 10th, there's still plenty of availability. I know we've got the group block right now, okay? But if there's a lot, it may fill up. I do not know that, okay? So the sooner you know, and I know this sometimes for some families, you're gonna have to discuss this and see if you can work it out. The sooner you can get that in, the better. If you know this week your kid's gonna go on the cruise, what I'm asking is to get that sheet over to you. If you need to wait till July 10th, that's fine too. Good. Okay, is everybody following me on that? As well, some other deadlines. July 24th, $150 deposit. Then you'll see $200 is due November 3rd. These are not set by us. This is set by the Straight A Tour and by Carnival. If you're going on a cruise, 90 days out, you have to pay and different things. Notice December 1st, the remaining balance of the cruise, minus the excursion is due. And then January the 15th, whatever excursion we're doing. Yes, ma'am.
The fundraising that they're doing all along, if they hit the fundraising mark for everything they need and
Yes,
they
ma'am.
continue to go.
Absolutely. They can fundraise all of this if they're set to do that. Yes, ma'am. 100% of the fundraisers goes into your account. Yes. And their parents, if their parents want to go. But yeah, we can't take any other student from the school. Okay. And that's a liability thing on our. We can't if we just opened it up to school. You can only imagine what could happen. So cancellation policies are right there as well. Again, this is set by Carnival, not us. Notice if we had to change a name, there's a $50. Let's say that when you give us the original information, we send it in and go, oh wait, I gave you the wrong middle name for my child. It's a $50 charge. That's not us. That's Carnival. Okay. You see what it includes is the interior stateroom, 24-hour room service, all their meals. If you've ever been on a cruise, you can eat your heart out on a cruise. You look at me and tell, right? Fine dining. Listen to me. Part of this cruise experience that we before we leave, we'll have some meetings with the group, and we go through this. We try to make this an educational experience. We'll go through dining etiquette. How many of you guys know which fork is for what and which spoon's for what? I didn't know when we started teaching it, okay? Or how to use your fingers to figure out where your bread is and where your drink is. Because you're sitting there and you're close to everybody and which plate's mine, which glass is mine. Okay? We go through dining etiquette. And we talk about, we'll bring in someone to talk about Cozumel and the Mexican culture. We make this an educational experience for our kids as well. We'll have 3 or 4 meetings about that. Shipboard activities, there are shows at night, there are games, trivia games, all kinds of stuff during the day. That's all included in it. And I'm not going to insult your intelligence. You can read most of this. That's on here. Okay? It also includes our charter buses. Get the Mobile back. We'll take charter buses over to Mobile. When I went 9 years ago, we took school buses. Now you can only imagine sitting at the Port of Mobile, and we had 3 school buses, and all these people are pulling in going, what have we done? And there was a van truck behind those 3 school buses with all of our stuff on. Okay? So this tells you everything that you need to know as far as travel documents. Do they have to have a passport? It's recommended, but it is not required. It is a closed loop tour that starts and ends at the same place. They do have to have a valid state-issued birth certificate. Okay? What that means, it can't be the one with your handprints and your footprints on it. I tried that my first cruise. Okay? And it was a real stressful situation. Okay? But it's the official one from the state. All right? I learned the one with the picture of the hospital, my feet print, my handprints, my footprints, those are souvenirs. Okay? Those aren't official. In case you didn't know that. You'll see on here other things to know. 4 students per cabin, 2 to 3 adults per room. Cabins are interior rooms. If you're booking outside the group, remember that if you, and I get it, some parents will go, hey, we go cheaper. And I'm with you on it. I get that. But we can't include you as part of our group because all of our planning, we can't book things for you with our group if you're not under our group booking. Does that make sense? We can't say, okay, yeah, you're part of our dinner and we're going to put you on our reservation. That's not in our control. Okay? So kind of understand that as well. Ms. Weaver, anything I've left off about that? I wanted to go no longer than an hour and a half. We've already gone that long. What I need is from you is that intention form no later than July 10th, as soon as possible, the better. Notice it needs full legal name because we have to give that to Carnival and their date of birth. Okay?
Make sure it's legible.
Yeah, make sure it's legible, please. Yeah, print it out and so forth. And it has the payment stuff on there, and you sign that, have your student bring it back in. You can scan it and email it to me, that's fine too. I'll print it out from there. But this is how we use and what we use to create our database. Okay? Any questions about the trip that I need for the group? Thank you for your patience. Moving on real quick, cookie dough fundraisers due tomorrow. The car wash-a-thon. This is wrong on the bottom of your sheet. It is correct in your packet. I missed this today when I was putting this together. If you want to change it, it says car wash-a-thon number 10 down there, second bullet. Pledge sheets distributed on July 10th. Pledges are due by July 20th, and the event is on July 22nd. So July 10th, July 20th, 22nd. I had the wrong dates. July 10th, 20th, 22nd. July 10th, the 20th, the 22nd. Coca-Cola truckload sale is on there as well. All right? Get your eyes on me one last time here. Guys, thank you for your time. I know sitting here for an hour and 35 minutes, listening to me talk a little bit of Ms. Schultz. I get it. You're ready to stand up. Thank you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. The best way to contact us is email, because a lot of times we're in and out now here in rehearsal, but usually between classes or after rehearsals, we're sitting there at the office and I'm checking emails and going through emails, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Car wash you changed from June 10th, July 10th, is that what you're saying just now?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say earlier.
July 10th?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
No, it's July 22nd.
Begins
What?
June 10th or begins?
No, the sheets go out. She's asking the sheets go out. July 10th. I said June 10th earlier. It'll be when the band comes back. Because we don't see the band again, except for the rookies. Yes?
As a parent, where do we turn in these forms for our child, and as kids, where do they turn in these signed forms?
Right over here, you'll notice there are boxes right outside our office by Ms. Weaver Wave. So right there, or if you want to bring them in the office, that'll work as well. So great question. Thank you for that. Okay, guys, if you have other questions, please see me afterwards. Again, thank you. Have a great night.
We were already over this way before she went.
Around about noon, I started
She doesn't say anything to us till the last second, 9 times out of 10.
What?
Yeah, we find out.
It was last second for us too. Can Lauren just stay as we're walking out the door?
Well, it worked out when you guys were able to go with you guys.
I think I know a place. Let's go.
way before time, and we can help you out, just let us know, we'll do the hours, we can get there. Just let us know, we'll help you out.
See, here's our issue, percussion players at the last 40 years.
Yeah, what I actually had to do was.
If he was in percussion, they'll be working. I mean, they'll be working for halftime shows.
You don't get all that, I'm sorry.
We have so many percussion.
That's why your eyes so red.
Okay. Fun, fun, fun. Fun, fun, fun.
So we didn't have to decide like here, they come to I would recommend, especially if he's only had 1 year of concussion. Most of the kids come up with
I would rather do things because I don't deal with people like that.
okay, what are you? I just kind of drum set will help you.
That's a general statement.
So, what I would also recommend is maybe hanging out with some of who has some kids who've done that.
Oh, Thursday.
When are you gonna have time to do it?
I don't want to discourage the family. It's kind of trying to be honest.
The last time that
We need young drum, that's where we need.
He won't make time, did you hear that?
Some are bringing in their. If we put more drums on the field, well, listen, I don't want you to give up on that reason, okay? Now, there is something, I will tell you this, something you could do.
I already told you how I
Is
feel about it.
as concert class.
I told you that today.
mail. You got mail.
That is simply open auditions are in November, and it's a totally after-school kind of thing, twice a week.
I already told you how I felt about it.
And it's, like I said, it's concert class, so, there's some battery percussion stuff, there's a drum set, there's, what we call wax. Different things on it. So always try to. I think we had about 12 years.
What's with all that stuff laid back?
You guys can this, and it's probably.
They come see you.
It wouldn't be the time to do it in 2 weeks.
Okay, I will have it.
I see Jasmine's a totally different class.
He won't be there Friday. He
I'll
is
drop it.
But they do all this.
we're dropping the trailer off. By
Yeah, I would like to try to get another city leaving. But I,
No, but he's brass.
I told you, not somebody else. He wasn't supposed to know he wasn't. Yeah, you can't have alcohol. And you can't let him out.
I'm gonna tell you.
I don't want to bring him out on Russian Creek.
I got William Byrd in there.
I don't even know where the needs are that they have right now.
And I can understand all that.
I won't be here.
Yeah.
I've got to be
I
at
will
work.
be here. I'm gonna be indoor. I mean, they
Yeah,
all-
well, that's what I guess that, kept on video.
Yeah, she's gonna, I'm gonna.
There you go.
One of these is gonna give me the information I need.
Helicopter.
You have to know
There was about four or five students that didn't even.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're having to learn to play something else.
There you go. See this? See this? See this? The back of your hand.
That's why, you know, my email, you're already instructed.
I do.
We know that you're right.
And yes, I have some tutorial this week.
You don't have to. Put
Monday was out that.
Does that make sense? You see that, Mike? Yeah, absolutely. What's your name? Dale. I'm Michael. I know you.
I'll make sure I let you guys know. I have to go
Well,
on
are you-
procedures.
All right.